library. My name is Tracy Anderson, and today I want to show you a little tutorial about how to make a wreath. Today we're going to be using some fresh greens that I collected out of my yard, but it's really a fun and easy and super affordable way to make a gorgeous wreath. It's really not limited just to the fresh greens or even the holidays, but you can use dried materials or change it up with the things that you add to it for different occasions. So today I am going to do, like I said, the fresh greens that I gathered out of my yard, but other than that you need a few other materials. You need a wreath form. This is just a wire form. I think this one's about 17 inches, and these are readily available at your craft stores or garden centers. So you need that, and you also need a paddle of floral wire. You want it on a paddle like this, and you'll see when we start to make it why that makes it so much easier. We're not going to cut the wire. It's going to be one continuous piece that wraps all the way around your form. So you need your wire, and then I just have some garden shears, pruners, and I'll use those just to kind of shorten up the pieces of greenery to get it to the length that I want. And I've got some little wire cutters. Today, let me show you the greens that I'm going to use. And like I said, I just got them out of my yard. I'm going to use some magnolia. This is a beautiful magnolia. Tip 2 when you're gathering is you don't need to cut like a big, huge branch because we're just going to be using the tips. And you need to remember that this wreath, when you make it, is actually going to end up bigger than your form. So you need to take that into account with the size of your pieces of greenery. So, you know, like this one I would probably cut down about like that. So I have magnolia. The other thing I brought today was just some cedar. And this I think is a type of a cypress, but any evergreen would really work. I have pine, and I really love the textures, the different textures. The one thing that I didn't gather from my yard and I purchased is this seeded eucalyptus. Recently I made some wreaths for my niece's wedding, and I used a lot of this seeded eucalyptus. And I just really love the lighter color green and also these little seeded berries. And when you're thinking about picking your greenery, it's just nice to think about different textures, and that makes it really, really interesting and beautiful. Other things that I use a lot are boxwood, and I have some laurels in my yard as well. So they're great things, but just look around. I mean, I just went out in the woods and cut a big bag of these. It's really nice if the temperature cooperates and you can cut your greenery when it's probably not lower than 50 degrees outside. And sometimes I will just take a big plastic trash bag and gather it, and then take the hose and put a little water in it when I get back home if I'm not going to be making it immediately. The other thing you can do, of course, is always just have some buckets with a little bit of water and stick your stems in that to keep them fresh until you're ready to get going. I did bring some pine cones today, and these are just some kind of a seed head. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but I thought they were a really nice texture and they might make it look interesting. So we'll see. We might add those in. But to get started, we're going to take our paddle of wire, and we need to attach it to the frame. So I usually just start at one of these cross pieces and just wrap it around and secure it a couple of times like that. And then I'll take the paddle wire and actually go around the frame a couple of times just to make that nice and secure. Okay, so I'm right-handed, so I'm going to want my paddle wire to be on my right side. And that way it just makes it really easy as I'm adding in the greenery just to keep wrapping with my naturally dominant hand. So if you want a really consistent looking wreath, you need to be consistent in making your little bundles. So that's what I've started over here. I've taken one piece of magnolia, the cypress, the cedar, the pine, and then I topped it with a little piece of seeded eucalyptus and have made like a little bundle. So if you have these pre-cut, it will go really fast, but you don't have to. You can cut as you go. But you're going to take your little bundle and lay it on your frame on top of that piece of wire that you just got started. And then you'll take your paddle wire and just wrap it 2 or 3 times and kind of pull it snugly, because what will happen as the greens naturally dry out a little bit, they'll shrink. And so you want to make sure that that is really secure. So just give it a good pull. These wreaths last for weeks. I usually make them at the holidays, and they will last well into the new year. Another thing too, if you are considering making your holiday or Christmas wreaths, save the lower branches of your Christmas tree. They usually cut off several of those branches, so if you just ask them if you could have those, that's a great thing to make your wreaths out of as well. So we have our first bundle on there, and I'm just going to keep going with my bundles. I've started making a few here, just so it won't take so long, but try to keep them the same length, the same assortment of materials. But what I'm going to do with this one, instead of just putting it directly on top of this, I'm going to aim it outward a little bit. And that way it won't completely cover up the greens that I just put on there. The only thing you would just want to make sure is that, of course, you're covering up your mechanics of your wire. So I'll just kind of tilt that out a little bit and take your wire and wrap it 2 or 3 times until that feels secure. And that's what you have so far. So it's pretty much the same. That bundle I aimed outward. And this next one, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'll tilt it inward just a little bit, making sure that I'm covering up the wire of the previous bundle, and just keep wrapping. If you have some pieces that are kind of sticking out, you can trim those down a little bit. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And I'm pretty much going to just keep doing the same thing, alternating the in and out with the bundles. And so at this point, I might try to speed up our video a little bit. All right. much finished your wreath, but you'll notice that you have kind of like a little bit of an empty spot here at the top. And so I'm going to show you how to kind of get your last bundle in there. The other thing a lot of people do is they make this the part where they have a ribbon where they put it on the hanger. But I always like to fill it in. I don't often put ribbons on mine, but you know, it's completely preference. But what I'll do at this point is make one last small bundle. Maybe not quite as full as the other ones. So I'll just do like I did before and just pick the same variety of materials. Got all of that in my little bundle. Get one more seeded eucalyptus. Get some of the berry part on it. Turn this down just a little bit. So what you'll do is your very first bundle, you'll lift up just a little bit, just so that you can get this one in there and tuck it. Make sure that will be enough to even it out. So just tuck that in there. This part can be a little tedious. Got a lot of materials. Just wrap it. Just kind of check to see if you like the uniformity of it. You can always go back and separately wire in other pieces of greenery to kind of balance it out if you've got a little wonky somewhere, but I think that's pretty good. I didn't end up using the seed heads. I was just kind of liking the way it looked with just the greenery. I may go back and add some pine cones or something in there, but so from this point you're just going to take your paddle wire and you're going to wrap it around your frame and tie it off, clip it with your wire cutters, and you are good to go. You have just completed a wreath. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, there are lots of ways to personalize it and put things that you like, materials that you like, and I hope that you